सियासत में नाना और फिर वालिदा का कत्ल हुआ। आपके वालिद की बेशतर ज़िंदगी जेल में गुजरी, फिर भी आप सियासत में आना चाहती हैं, क्यों? क्या कोई मजबूरी है या कशिश?
देखो, I've lost my grandfather and my mother. My family have made a lot of sacrifices for Pakistan. One only needs to go to Gari Khuda Bakhsh to see how many of my family members have sacrificed for Pakistan. However, the options are to either remain silent or speak up. My grandfather chose to speak up for the people's rights. My mother chose to speak up for the people's rights. And my brother also speaks up for all the people's rights on the basis of my grandfather's mission and my mother's vision. My brother speaks up for entire Pakistan. And therefore, we will continue to speak up and stand by our chairman, Pakistan People's Party, Bilal Bhutto Zardari.
How do you evaluate Prime Minister Imran Khan's one-year performance?
There are a lot of similarities between Imran Khan's government and the former dictator General Pervez Musharraf. For instance, he has the same cabinet ministers as General Pervez Musharraf. Imran Khan has had more failures than any successes. There has been a crackdown on freedom of speech, freedom of association, human rights. These are all happening under his term. He had promised the Pakistan people that he would make 10 million jobs. However, he's not made one job. He's actually created more instability, and many millions of people have been laid off due to his economic instability. He promised he would make 5 million homes. He has yet to make one house, and he has destroyed millions. He promised that he would rather commit suicide than go asking other nations for aid. However, he is seen in every single country with that same begging bowl in his hand. If you ask the ordinary person, the common man on the streets, they will also tell you inflation is at an all-time high. Unemployment is at an all-time high. They will tell you that bijli is mehengi, roti is mehengi, gas is mehengi, jeena mehenga, or marna bhi mehenga hai is Pakistan mein. This is what's happening today in Imran Khan's Pakistan, U-turn after U-turn. If you compare this with the Pakistan People's Party's government, despite a world recession, despite a war on terrorism, despite 2 natural disasters, the Pakistan People's Party was able to create 6 million jobs. It created the first social safety net for millions of Pakistanis across Pakistan, the Benazir Income Support Program. The President Zardari strengthened ties with China by creating CPEC, and it's going to create an economic opportunity for Pakistan, and that will benefit the region also. We restored the 1973 Constitution. We enabled provinces to have power. This and many other things are the reason why Pakistan People's Party's government was centered on people's rights and opportunity for everyone. Imran Khan's government is none of these things.
इस वक्त इस खित्ते का सबसे बड़ा मसला कश्मीर का मसला है। आपके ख्याल में मौजूदा हुकूमत इस मसले को ठीक तरह से हैंडल कर रही है और क्या सही समत में लेकर जा रही है?
Personally, I think that Imran Khan's delayed speech in Parliament lacked direction. It was a failure. The foreign minister went to Kashmir and stated that the international community, we should not plan on expecting much from the international community, which is ridiculous. It is an outrageous situation that's happening in Kashmir, and there needs to be international as well as national outrage. I would like to reiterate what my father said on the parliamentary floor, that had this happened under his term, that the first flight that he would take would be to the United Arab Emirates, then to China, then to Russia, then to Iran, to call upon our Muslim brothers and sisters and our allies to stand by us and denounce the fascist and humanitarian crisis that is happening in Kashmir.
कश्मीर के मामले पर आलमी बिरादरी का जो किरदार है, क्या आपको लग रहा है वो ठीक है, जो वो कर रहे हैं उन्हें यही करना चाहिए?
No, I think the international community needs to condemn the situation in Kashmir much more. There is not enough condemnation for the situation in Kashmir. The state-backed atrocities that are occurring in Jammu and Kashmir include women who are being raped, children who are being murdered, protesters who are being shot at. If anyone holds a Pakistan flag, soldiers think that they have a right to shoot at them. These are grave human rights violations, and the international world is silent, and their silence is deafening.
आपकी ज़रदारी साहब से एक मुख्तसर से मुलाकात हुई है, कैसी तबीयत है उनकी और क्या कहा उन्होंने?
I first heard about the severity of the situation when a BBC News article had come out saying that my father needed to go to hospital and the government were reluctant to move him. I managed to come to Islamabad to try and meet my father. I had a court order in hand that gave me permission to meet my father. However, once I arrived at the hospital, the authorities had locked all the doors. Patients were not allowed to come in or come out. Citizens were not allowed to enter. I managed to enter and I was waiting for my father to complete some tests. Once I was waiting for him and he was coming back up, a swarm of 30 police officers came surrounding him. The women manhandled me. The men were pushing us back as well. I tried to catch a glimpse of my father, but the police were determined not to let my father see my face. I pushed through, I held his hand. I tried to walk him to his room. However, the women police were still pulling me back and physically trying to restrain me to not let me bring my father to his hospital room. I spoke to his doctors and they stated that they were very concerned as 3 of his arteries are blocked. He's not only a sugar patient, but due to his last 11.5 years of incarceration, and when he was being tortured, he had severe back problems and spinal issues that have been reoccurring in this present condition. They were under the impression that further tests needed to be conducted and further treatment needed to continue in the hospital. However, later on that day, I found out via the media that they had shifted my father back to jail, clearly without the doctor's permission. The doctors were being pressurized before and the government clearly succeeded in pressurizing them to shift my father back to jail.
So you're not satisfied with the treatment?
Absolutely not satisfied with the treatment. My father needs to be in hospital under doctor's observations until they say he is fit enough to go back to jail.
साबिक सदर आसिफ अली जरदारी की गिरफ्तारी से कबल और बाद में भी आपकी जमात ये कहती रही है कि हम किसी से कोई डील नहीं करेंगे। आखिर ये डील, ये सौदेबाजी कौन आपसे करना चाहता है और क्या डील करना चाहता है?
देखो, the current government keeps saying that they're not interested in giving an NRO. They won't give an NRO. Our response is, who's asking for an NRO? My father spent 11.5 years of incarceration, being tortured in jail, and he did not ask for an NRO. He did not have a single conviction against him, and he did not make a deal. So I don't think my father will be making a deal anytime soon.
सियासत आपके हर तरफ है, तो क्या घर में भी सियासी गुफ्तगू होती है या उस पर मुमानत है?
देखो, in a country like Pakistan, with a new political situation happening every day, it's hard not to talk about politics. However, we do find time to sit down and switch from the news channels to something lighter and have family discussion and meals.
खाना बनाने का शौक है आपको?
I can cook. I would like to think that I'm a good cook. However, if you ask my brother and sister, they might disagree with me. However, yes, I can cook.
पसंदीदा डिश आपकी कौन सी है?
Oh, my favorite dish of all time. I'm not an expert at making this, but my favorite dish has to be biryani, and nothing beats Karachi biryani.
पाकिस्तान की कोई एक ऐसी जगह जहाँ पर आप एक आम इंसान की तरह बिना प्रोटोकॉल के जाना चाहती हों, और क्यों?
I would love to visit Kashmir and the northern areas of Pakistan. It's a truly beautiful place, and this hospitality of the people also is amazing, and they're very hospitable. So Kashmir would be my number 1 choice to visit.